Okay, you win. By far the most requested breakdown of the last several months is here, Thomas Shelby. If you're not familiar, Tommy Shelby is the mastermind behind the Peaky Blinders gang and empire, and while I think this goes without saying, don't be like Tommy in every way. He is traumatized, violent, and all sorts of antisocial in many ways, but he does have two main traits that can have a huge impact in your life. First, he remains calm in the face of incredible pressure, which second, allows him to outsmart just about everyone. So let's first dig into what you can learn from him when it comes to staying cool in pressure situations, and then how you can use your wits to come out ahead. Spoilers through Season 5 to follow. First off, perhaps the most noticeable thing about Tommy is that he rarely overreacts in situations of extreme pressure. Tommy's calm, non-reactive demeanor is extremely unsettling to his adversaries, but even more important, it's in this remaining calm that he's able to put into practice all of the other strategies that we're discussing in this video, so this piece is foundational. Now, Tommy wasn't born cool as a cucumber, none of us are. He developed this trait through repeated exposure to life-threatening situations, first in the war, and then over and over and over again in the course of his rise as a gangster. The same principle applies in our lives. If we want to remain calm in certain situations, the most reliable way isn't simply by focusing on keeping a straight face or a deadpan stare. In fact, the more you think about your facial expressions when you're nervous, the more likely you are to actually blush. So even though people notice the unflinching face, the best way to get there is through what's called exposure therapy. Essentially, you put yourself into less challenging simulations of whatever difficult scenario you're about to face. So if you're going to interview, doing a mock interview with a friend, or even touring the building that you'll be interviewing in can go a long way to calming your nerves on the big day. Or if you want to be more comfortable in social situations, saying a single extra sentence to a service person can challenge you without triggering total panic. But Tommy's experience also shows us what happens if you expose yourself to overwhelming situations rather than gradations of slightly more challenging ones. When overwhelmed, you can become traumatized. And while you may retain total coolness in stressful moments, you will inevitably find destructive coping mechanisms to deal with what you haven't faced. And in the later seasons, we see Tommy's mental stability break down as suicide becomes more and more of an option. So as you're building towards fearlessness, don't rush in too fast. It can be counterproductive. Now, outsmarting people requires more than just composure. Tommy often has to persuade people that have every reason to hate him, and he exhibits three powerful tools that regularly keep him in control. The first is his use of state-breaking questions. Watch.
So the Oddfellows want you to know that any deviation from your instructions will have consequences.
What's your dog's name?
When we're under pressure, our natural response is to go with the flow and passively accept the conversational pace set by someone who's in a position of power over us. However, in doing so, we surrender our power during that conversation, which in a negotiation usually leads to an unfavorable deal. This state-breaking question is a seemingly out-of-place question that breaks the one-sided conversational flow. And from there, conversation is much easier to steer in a new direction. In this case, Tommy uses it to assert his power despite the fact that he is imprisoned.
You visited your sister.
Hey, what's your name, boy?
Interestingly, when Tommy does have power, he doesn't allow others to divert it away with their own state-breaking questions. He simply continues down his original path rather than answering them.
Furthermore, he's a criminal profile, which will make his actions explicable to the police.
And since when did you worry about the police?
Barney Thomason is going to kill an MP.
In your life, you probably don't want to use this to introduce threats into a conversation, but it can be an incredibly persuasive tool, especially when someone's emotional state is preventing them from moving forward productively. For instance, if someone is feeling upset, asking a random lighthearted question can snap their state for long enough for them to consider more empowering possibilities. And we saw this in the video that we did on Tony Robbins getting people out of depression.
What makes you hate yourself? Is it the red shoes?
What?
Is it the red shoes?
No.
Are you sure? Because they're fucking red.
So keep this in mind when emotions, yours or someone else's, get out of control. Asking a seemingly irrelevant question gives you the opportunity to retake control of the situation and move it towards a more productive solution. Now, a simple question isn't going to instantly put someone on your side. In fact, other people can be counted on to continue to pursue their own agendas, which is why we often see Tommy get what he wants by finding a way to align his needs with the other person's. For instance, when he wants to prevent Kimber from assaulting Grace, he doesn't appeal to his decency. He says this:
She looks good on the outside, but she has the clap. Yeah.
Or watch here, as Tommy tries to convince another faction to join him in a war against the Italians. He doesn't appeal to honor or to doing what's right, but to doing what's good for Alfie Solomon.
And if the Italians win, they're not planning on leaving. And after me, it'll be him and then you. And the fucking mafia, Alfie. They can distill their liquor, and it's against the law. They've come here and they like what they see. They're coming and they're here to stay.
Now, in order to do this effectively, you cannot imagine that other people want the same things as you. You must try to first view the world from their perspective. Now, I know this may sound obvious, but so few people follow this advice. Instead, they offer others what they would want, never getting anywhere. So before offering help, you need to make sure you understand the other person's world, which is why Tommy comes to these meetings already understanding the position and temperament of the person that he's going to be speaking to.
Your distillery provides 1/10 of your income. Protection is another 10%, and the rest you make from the racetracks. I know you keep a gun in the drawer. I know you keep it beside the whiskey. I know you offer a deal or death.
And if after all of your research on someone you're still unclear on what they want, you can always just ask them in the course of conversation.
I want to know what you want.
One concrete area that you can put this to use in your own life is in connecting with someone that you might like as a mentor, say a CEO, an influencer, whoever. The internet makes it easier than ever to get in touch with these people, but it also means that they get more of these requests than ever before. So rather than the typical, let's chat over coffee, research a particular problem they may have, and then offer to meet to discuss how specifically you can help. This is a much more effective way to start that relationship. But even beyond this particular scenario, the point is that one of the best ways to get what you want is to seriously consider how you can get other people what they want. It activates reciprocity and creates allies that can open up incredible opportunities. Now this brings us to the next point. When Tommy really needs something done, he doesn't just solve someone's problem. He gives both the carrot and the stick, which is a much stronger motivation when you're trying to effect large changes. Watch.
The nature of the deal is explained in my proposal. I've booked you a suite. If you need anything in this city, just mention my name. Also in the envelope is a cheque for £500 for your wife. She can use it to pull a black carriage with your body in it, should you break the terms of the white flag.
Some people are motivated more by the prospect of gaining something, others by the fear of losing something. And all of us are motivated when there's a particular path that assuages both of those desires, which is why Tommy makes sure to hit on both whenever he needs someone to be all in on one of his plans. You can see it again here. This time he does it in reverse order.
If those guns reach Belfast, your life in the Force is over. When I've achieved what I've set out to achieve, I will let you know where to find the guns. You'll be a hero. You'll probably get a medal.
This is a far superior persuasive strategy than simply commanding or threatening people, and it's incredibly helpful when you're trying to inspire any group of people. So whether it's in school or work, when there's a team of people that you're trying to move towards a common goal, or if it's in business when you're trying to explain the value of a product that you're selling, don't just talk about what someone can gain if they follow your vision, but instead on what they might miss out if they don't. Now this takes us to the last piece, which is truly what makes Tommy Shelby so unique and probably why so many people love him. And it's his ability to turn trash into resources, lemons into lemonades, as the phrase commonly says. But I wouldn't actually use that phrase because it's most often used to describe making the best of a bad situation. In Tommy's case, he makes a bad situation better than if it had never happened in the first place. For example, when there's a failed assassination attempt on his brother's life, he doesn't just look at the bright side of things, that his brother is alive. He uses that attempt to spread disinformation, telling everyone that Arthur, his brother, is dead, which buys him time to recuperate and then eventually surprise and kill that season's big baddie, Luca Changretta. Similarly, Tommy is told that he needs to kill his friend Danny Whizbang to avoid all-out war with the Italian gangsters. Clearly a bad situation, but he makes it work out better than if he didn't have to by using it as an opportunity to fake Danny's death, which gets him a man who can operate in London without anyone even looking for him. And it also gets him a hiding place for the guns that he stole at the beginning of the season, the supposed grave of his friend, a place that no one would even think of looking. Now, this might seem like it could only work in scripted dramas, but this strategy of turning trash into resources is how some of the most elegant and brilliant solutions are created in the real world. And it can be a trash situation, or it can be literal trash, like in the case of Boyan Slat, who is cleaning up huge clumps of trash in our oceans. Now, most people see the problem of litter and pollution as one that they might like to tackle, but the economics just don't work. Until you have the breakthrough idea of viewing the trash that you're trying to clean up as a resource, which is exactly what Boyan did, selling the massive amounts of plastic that he finds in the ocean to recycling plants, cleaning up the ocean and building a profitable business in one fell swoop. The point is, the bad things in your life may only appear bad in a particular context. If you could put those things into a completely new and different context, you can turn something that everyone else overlooked into a valuable resource. So an extremely powerful question to ask when you're frustrated or you wish a circumstance wasn't the case is, how can the thing that I least want become valuable towards another goal of mine? Now, as we talked about, part of the reason that Tommy can remain calm and confident enough to come up with the best solution to this question is that he suffered serious trauma in World War I. But if you're interested in remaining calm and confident without having to go through any world wars, I think that the fastest way to do so is with our program, Charisma University. It is a step-by-step guided program that is guaranteed to give you more charisma and confidence in just 30 days. And you can read all about the details in the link below, but usually the strongest way to talk about a course like this is to let the actual members themselves do the talking. So here are just a few of the things that CU members have written in. The first one is, I had confidence in some areas of my life, but not in others. Then Charisma University changed that for me. Since beginning the program, I have seen noticeable changes in my life. It has helped me unlock the confidence that comes with knowing that I can go into any social situation and crush it. It costs less than half the price of one course at my college, but it has had far bigger impact on me than any traditional class I've enrolled in. Now, this next one comes from a woman who works as a clinical psychologist. She says, I absolutely love the content that Charlie has created, and I'm happy to pay for the modules. I'm a clinical psychologist looking for material that could help my clients who have social anxiety. Charlie's material is exactly what I was looking for. So excited to be a member of Charisma University. And this last one comes from a guy who got promoted to a senior position early in his career. He says, I don't even have a bachelor diploma, yet they want me to fill this position. And when asked why, this was the answer. You have great social skills, which is rare for an engineer. You can think quick on your feet, and you're open and self-assured in your demeanor. Thank you so much for all that you taught me. You have truly changed my life, because without CU, I wouldn't have qualified for that position in a million lifetimes. And you can see more success stories like those in the comments if you decide to join the course. If you do, the course comes with a 60-day money-back guarantee, which is 100% for any reason at all. And it's 60 days even though the course is only 30, because we want to make sure that every single member truly feels like they're getting a ton of value from the course. So if you want to check the course out, go ahead and click the link on screen now or below in the description. We've had thousands of members go through this course and get a ton out of it, and I'd love for you to do the same. Either way, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.